Vishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Māhārāja Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitil Vishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Māhārāja Ki Jai. Nitil Vishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Māhārāja Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Vishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Māhārāja Ki Jai. Nitil Vishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Vishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gokshara Swaraj Ki Jai. Nitil Vishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitil Vishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patitash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vrajamandal Mathura Vrindavan Dhan Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Alright everybody, sorry I am so late today. I lost track of time. And anyhow, so let's just jump right into it. Dandavat Pranams Gargaraji and Madhavi Didi, Ganga Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Prajumna Prabhu, and Mantramurti Mataji. Haribo, Dandavat Pranams. I see you changed your profile photo. Gargaraji. Alright, so I'm just sharing my screen. It's a photo when Gargaraj came here to Gopinath Bhavan. Okay. I look like a Jedi. Alright, so now continuing on from letter 19. How Bhagavan tests the devotee. Making one's life a success. Seeing through hearing is better than seeing directly. The roles of guru and disciple. The definition of bhakti. So this is written in 1974 from Shiliguri, Shri Keshav Goswami Amat. Snehaspadasu. Ma, I have received your letter, which was dated 25/12/73 on this past date of 11/1/74. At present, I am fully healthy. You all ought not to worry for me in the slightest. By your love and good wishes, I was able to regain my health very quickly. It is natural to shed tears in the absence of a loved one, but no one can stay with anyone in direct physical presence forever. It is through crying that human beings find the joy and peace of seeing and meeting. This crying shows them the path to composure and peace. The indwelling Supersoul surely fulfills the devotee's selfless prayers for exclusive service and devotion to Sri Bhagavan. Keep the faith that Sri Guru and Bhagavan are kalpataru. They are wish-fulfilling trees, and Bhakta Vatsal, they are affectionate to the devotees. There is nothing they cannot give. When Bhagavan is finished testing the devotee, he shows him his undeceiving grace. Prior to that, the devotee must remain under examination. Krishna jadi chute bhakte bhukti mukti diya, kabu bhakti dhana naden rakena lukaya. Kabu bhakti dhana nad. Yeah. Sorry. Kabu bhakti dhana naden rakena lukaya. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm just saying, I take out these two A's. Krishna can leave the devotee with material enjoyment or liberation. Sometimes he does not devotion and keeps it hidden. This is the test. Krishna says, I know better. Why would I give that full sense enjoyment? I will give him the nectar of my feet and have him forget the objects of the senses. Ami vigya she murke vishay kene dibo. Sacharanamrita diya vishay bhulaibo. This is the causeless mercy shown towards the devotee who has passed that test. Whatever aspirations you have will surely be fulfilled in due time. Why would you have to cry your whole life? The instruction is given in scripture to serve Sri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas with faith, conviction, love and attachment. This is why the devotee or servant empties his heart to render service. See, these references are not lined up and there's too much space in between the number. Okay. I like this. The devotee or servant empties his heart to render service. Para Brahma and Shabda Brahma are synonymous. Shri Nam and Nami are identical. That Shabda Brahma, or absolute sound, dances in the worshipful mouths of the eternally perfected great souls, the Bhagavat Paramahamsas. That is why the sound is like nectar and captivating to the heart. This is why Śrīmad Bhagavatam has manifested the verse Bhiddate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva sankshaya. Transcendent sound vibration kisses the knot of the heart and severs all doubts. As Sri Nam is identical to Nami, the Vedas describe that Satchidananda entity severs is as Rasovaisa. I'll put hyphens in here. Satchidananda entity is Rasovaisa. 1 second. It's a bit cold right now. Just kidding. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Hence, that Nam Prabhu delights infinite universes. If one can go on hearing, chanting, and remembering Sri Bhagavan's name, form, and qualities, and the narrations of his pastimes, then this rare human birth is worthwhile. Sadhu Sangha, associating with saintly personalities, Sri Nam Kirtan, chanting the holy name, Shastra Shravan, hearing the scriptures, Dham Vas, living the Lord's holy abode, and Sri Murti Pujarshan, worshipping the Lord's deity form. These are referred to as the 5 greatest limbs of sadhan. If a human being can, over the course of his life, spend his memorable days in this cultivation, then he knows his life was a success. There is no greater recreation than this, nor can there be. In a world of materialists, the criticism of spiritualists will go on forever. One will have to not lend an ear to that, and instead proceed along the path of one's own sadhan bhajan. When you are considered undesirable by the people of this world, then and only then should you know that some convenient advantage has come from performing Hari Bhajan, and you should hold on to that. This notion has been displayed in the Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam verse of the Gita 2:6. You should study this well. I think anyways, maybe it doesn't matter, but usually the end dash is supposed to go on the line before and then come after. Oh, and just so you guys know, I say this every day, but just in case somebody's watching for the first time, all these words that are underlined, Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj wrote in English. Where there is a lack of direct sadhu sangha, then the provision of sadhu sangha in the form of granthas has been made available. You will have to keep that all-worshipful absolute truth on the path of your memory at all times. It is essential to have this sort of attitude in order to progress along life's path. One has to perform sadhana of one visible supreme truth via moment-to-moment anushilan, devotional cultivation, or abhyas yoga. Then you will find bliss and peace in every condition, and no one can snatch away that bliss, that profound peace. I have understood in my heart I have understood in my heart the cause and reason you sent your friends to Navadvip at the time of Dol. I understand that because you cannot personally be present in Sri Dham, you are trying to make up for the lack of darshan through hearing. Also, the reality is that the separation or the mood of vipralamba is full of more sweetness than in meeting. Seeing through hearing is better than seeing directly. In seeing directly, often mundane notions come and cause errors and oversights in one's perception. There are no divisions of mundane time in the transcendental realm. That world is beyond time and space. In that place, there is no time but the eternal present. Therefore, Lila has been accepted as eternal. Adyapi hashe Lila kore gorarai, kono kono bhagyavan deki bari pai. Even today, Gorarai performs those pastimes. Some fortunate souls are able to see them. This is the speciality of Sri Bhagavan's incomparable pastimes, and so there surely remains the possibility that you will gain some peace from hearing about Sri Dham and various darshans from your friend's mouth. You have made much progress on the path of spiritual life. Your job is to present the field of your heart, while the bona fide Guru's job is to sow the seed of the Gayatri mantras. By watering it with the water of hearing and chanting, the seed of the vine of bhakti will grow, become a huge tree, reach its destination, Goloka Vrindavan. The sadhak and sadhika become blessed upon obtaining instructions on how to perform Shravan and Kirtan from a bona fide Guru. In this matter, the mercy of Guru is imperative. What you wrote is true. There is a huge difference between those who are sheltered and those who are not. However, I have full responsibility for you spiritually, and you have limitless affectionate blessings. May you have the kind of conviction and exclusive dedication to Sri Krishna Chandra that Sri Hanumanji has for Sri Ramachandra. I bless you thus, so that you can say from your heart, Tatrapi mama sarvasva, Sri Krishna Shamasundara. Nevertheless, my all in all is Sri Krishna Shamasundar. The word bhakti signifies service to Hrishikesh, Sri Krishna, the master of one's transcendental senses, via which are inclined to serve. I'm pretty sure Hrishikesh has a long I. Anyways, I'll check that. This tendency of bhakti is beyond the functions of body and mind. Bhakti is that easy and simple inclination of the heart that is devoid of the filth of karma, gyan, etc. One who has a mind that has been conquered and that follows the guidance of the soul is eligible to attain bhakti. The soul of the soul is Paramatma, and only if the soul can attain Sri Bhagavan, who is the fullest manifestation of that Paramatma, does it attain its true destination. That is only possible by service. If one is an anarchist, then there is greater chance that one will be interned. What's interned? Does that mean like burned? Okay. a student trainee who works sometimes without pay in order to gain work experience or satisfy requirements for qualification. Oh, as a verb, it means confined, as a prisoner, especially for political or military reasons. Okay. Give your full attention to your studies. You will have to pass with good marks. Take my affectionate blessings. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. One second, I just want to make sure, because yesterday I think the sound was cutting out a lot, wasn't it? So I'm just going to fix I want to try, maybe it's... Show options, I'm going to take away this high resolution audio. Cut out less. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams Rohit Radhakrishnan ji. Okay. Special prayers to letter 20. Special prayers to Sri Guru. Realizing the true form of Sri Dham. Advice on chanting rounds. Standards for accepting food prepared by others. There's no real happiness in this world. No one is destined for family life. Deliberations on standards of purity. This is written in 1974. Snehaspadasu. Ma, your letter just arrived by post. I'm leaving Sundarban with 2 or 3 I'm leaving Sundarban within 2 or 3 days to go elsewhere. I will return to Navadvip around the 15th of February. I was especially delighted to know that you'll be doing and are currently doing as I said. It is imperative to auspiciously begin all activities by remembering Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, and conclude those activities in the same way. In this world, who is a greater friend than Guru and Vaishnavas? This is why a certain Vaishnav Mahajan has sung, Shri Guru Kripai Bhengeche Swapan Pujechi Ekon Tumi Apan Tava Nija Jan Paramo Bandhava Sangsara Kara Gare. By the mercy, the dream has broken, and I understand now that only you are my own. It is your intimate associate who is my best friend in this jail of material existence. For the sadhaks and sadhikas, Shri Guru and Vaishnavas are the meditation and the knowledge itself. They are everything. Hence, we offer the following prayer of longing for our cherished ambition. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad, Shri Mor Sampad, Shri Mor Bhajana Pujan, Shri Mor Prana Dhana, Shri Mor Abharana, Shri Mor Jivanir Jivana, Shri Mor Rasanidhi, Shri Mora Vansha Siddhi, Shri Mor Vera Dharama, Shri Vrata Shri Tapa, Shri Mora Mantra Japa, Shri Mora Dharama Karama, Shri Mora Dharama Karama. I understood that your body is fit. You will surely come to Navadvip during the month of Falgun. But why only come once? You will have to nurture the desire to have darshan of Sri Dham again and again. And internally, you will have to take a vow to always behold Sri Dham and dwell there. No matter where you are, gaining a spurti, a glimpse of the transcendental Sri Dham is the priority. Gauravraja Vane Bheda Naheri Vo Hoi Bhavaraja dasi. Dhamera swarup spuribe nayane hoibo radhara dasi. Hoibo radhara dasi. 108. I will see no difference between the forests of Goda and Vraj, and I will become a resident of Vraj. The form of the Lord's holy abode will manifest before my eyes, and I will become a maidservant of Sri Radha. This constitutes realization of Sri Dham's true form. If this sort of mood arises in the heart, one attains eligibility to have darshan of the absolute truth. One has eligibility to have darshan of the absolute truth, Shri Vrajendranandan, and perform there Shri Radha Krishna's Nam Kirtan, calling out, Hey Radhe, Hey Krishna. Your sole prayer to the Ichamai, the Bhagavan who is composed of desire, is to forever have. Your sole prayer to the Ichamai, Bhagavan who is composed of desire, is to forever have full conviction in these names. I am certainly well. If I do not stay well, how can I carry on? If I become unwell, then who knows what kind of terrible condition you all might be in. When I think of that, I realize that I have to stay healthy for all the time. I have to stay healthy all the time. The jiva's true and healthy condition is to always chant Shri Nam. Worrying about someone's physical illness and thinking about Shri Guru and Bhagavan's name, form, qualities, etc. are not the same. Feelings and concern for a dear one who is not of this earthly realm have been referred to in Shastra as sadhana and limbs of bhakti. Earthly should be lowercase. Meditation on Sri Guru is included among the limbs of sadhan for the disciple. Whenever you find the time, you should chant a fixed amount of Nam on your Shri Malika, your Japa Mala. Often, there is no opportunity to perform Mala Japa. At such times, you should simply chant the Mahamantra verbally. By this, you obtain the fruit of chanting Shri Nam, but you do not fulfill your vow to chant a fixed number of rounds on your Shri Malika. That japa you will have to complete separately. It is to be part of your daily routine, and certainly to be considered one of your special duties. Bosiya shuya tomara charana chintivo satata ami. Whether sitting or sleeping, I will think of your feet constantly. If you utter the Mahamantra even in your leisure time, while going here and there, special results will arise. The rule for and Gayatri Japa is that they are to be performed in solitude while sitting on a sanctified seat. No such rules or prohibitions apply to Kirtan of the Mahamantra. This makes it the Nam. This doesn't sound right. This makes it the Sri Nam that is the deliverer. Oh, it does make sense. This makes it the Sri Nam that is the deliverer, Taraka, and the savior of the age of Kali. It still sounds weird. I'm just going to highlight this. I can look at the Bengali. Okay. If sometimes you go to a close relative's house, you can use the pots they do not cook meat in, but you should have no doubt about that. Prior to using them. There is a difference of hell between using someone's vegetarian pots and eating foods cooked by others. Who are you referring to as a chaste widow? There's a footnote here. A person may be devoted or chaste to various demigods or goddesses, but if they have no connection to Bhagavan, they are like a widow. Okay. One second. Okay. Oops. There. There is no fault in eating foodstuffs prepared by the hands of... Okay, sorry. There is no fault in eating foodstuffs prepared by the hands of a person who belongs to the same sampradaya as you. Wait, read that. There is no fault in eating foodstuffs prepared by the hand of a person who belongs to the same sampradaya as you, is a disciple of the same guru, or is initiated with the Vishnu mantra, follows proper conduct. But if food from the hands of someone initiated in another sort of mantra, from a non-Vaishnav, from a person who partakes of pan, tobacco, tea, etc., or from one who worships demigods or goddesses, then by their touch, the foodstuff is contaminated. This is based on a foundation in traditions that are highly scientific. Any such risk of contamination is highly prohibited in the Smriti Shastras in medical science. The refulgent proof of this matter is found in the statement, Alapar gatra sangsparshat nishvasat sahabhojanat sancharanti hipapani punyanyapi tataivacha. Conversing, engaging in physical contact, breathing air exhaled by others, and sharing meals with them can spread the results of sinful activities even to those who are pious. Shastras that deal with the matters of health instruct everyone to always keep away from any risk of contagion and disease. On the other hand, kshanam iha sajana sangatir eka bhavati bhavarnava tarane noka. Even a moment of association with saintly personalities can prove to be the boat to ferry one across the ocean of material existence. And bhakta pada duli ar bhakta pada jal bhakta bhukta avashishat 18 sadhaner bhal. The dust of the feet of the devotees, the water that has washed their feet, and the remnants of their food, these three give strength to perform sadhan. These too are the prescription of Shastra for sadhaks and sadhikas. And so it is that one must simultaneously follow the instructions to give up the unfavorable association and adopt good association. Oh, and there's a footnote here for this Alpanadgata Samsparshat. Though very similar verses appear in the Śrīmad Pancharatra and Vayu Purana, this particular iteration appears in Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur's Sri Gaudiya Bhashya of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Adikanda, which references, there should be no comma here, and there should be a comma after this parentheses. Okay. And I think Chandrika should have a long A. Okay. I know you will not willfully transgress your faith in the proper conduct and regulations. But if your aunt can help arrange what you need to cook, then you should cook with your own hand. This sort of diligence is accepted in all Sanatan Dharma Sampradayas. Going to the homes of relatives is part of worldly social interaction, but to keep one's spiritually intact, does that make sense? Going to the homes of relatives is part of worldly social interaction, but to keep one's spirituality intact. Sorry guys, I don't know why that didn't make sense to me. To keep one's spirituality intact, one must become the object of some materialistic criticisms. I'm going to save this one. This is a good one. You should never deviate from the path of truth because of this. In worldly settings, there is a certain discipline to be followed by widows. Aside from that, many young men and women have sattvika tastes in regard to their diet at home. Their guardians have to make independent, separate arrangements at home for them. One second, let me just save this quote. I like it. And this is what? This is letter, I think, 20. Okay. Oops. All right. In this world, in worldly settings, there is a certain discipline to be followed by widows. Aside from that, many young men and women have sattvika tastes in regard to their diet at home. Their guardians have to make independent, separate arrangements at home for them. You do not like an environment in samsara that is full of envy, violence, and criticism. This is natural. In material existence, man engages in various activities in hopes of terminating his sorrows and gaining peace and happiness. Yet ultimately, he gains only sorrow in greater amounts. Often he sees results opposite to what he wished for. Just as misery comes even when one does not want misery, happiness also comes automatically, according to what the individual living entity has in store. What we call happiness in this world is a momentary lapse of misery, and we try to hold on to that. This is not real happiness and peace. Mahamaya, this world fortress, made of misery. Here, unadulterated bliss and eternal peace are never possible. This is why the Vaishnava Mahajans have sung, Bhaviya dekho ho bhai amrisha anandanai je ache she dukkera karana se sukhera tore tave keno maya dasa habe haraibe paramartha dhan. Reflect and see, brother. Here there is no undiluted bliss. Whatever there is only causes sorrow. Why? For what sort of happiness would you then become a servant of illusion and lose the treasure of the ultimate object, paramartha? Mundane attachments to that which is inert is referred to in scripture as samsara. And sadhu, shastra, and guru, we find the following. Krishnera samsara koro chariyanachar jive daya name ruchi sarva dharma sar. Conduct your worldly affairs in relation to Krishna and give up sinful activity. Compassion for living entities and taste in the holy name is the essence of all religion. In that sort of samsara, there is no condition of material bondage. The eternal husband, the Lord of life itself, the aggregate form of all ras, the root foundation of all power. There should be a the, right? Vrajendra Nandan Sri Krishna is the master of this samsara. This environment is built up around him at the center. An abode where many people who are engrossed in enjoying their senses live together. An abode where many people who are engrossed in enjoying their senses live together is called samsara. In that sort of situation, you must be like an eel, hard to catch. Samsara is a school. As long as you live, there is no end to the lessons. You will have to live in the midst of this and perform a bhajan sadhan of Sri Bhagavan. I'll add this to the quote also. One second. ... As long as you live, there is no end to the lessons. You will have to live in the midst of this and perform bhajan sadhan as Sri Bhagavan. Okay. No one is destined for family life. Of their own free will, living entities who are inclined toward enjoyment choose such a pitiable condition. This is the opinion of Shastra. By sadhan bhajan, this condition is nullified, just as using an umbrella deflects the heat of the sun. The living entity endeavors only to roam the path of instinct and urges, pravritti marg, But Shastra has given the indication that peace is found only on the path of restraint, nivritti marg. The fetters of marriage and other such matters are part of worldliness. In the Gita verse 522, ye hi samsparshaja bhoga na teshu ramate buddha, this is made abundantly clear. If in your mind and heart you do not have any desire yourself in mundane attachments, then you will surely be protected from that. Your simplicity and conviction will keep you engaged in sadhan bhajan and always protect you, and you will develop more and more understanding of tattva and siddhanta. Your faith and belief will never lessen. This is my heartfelt blessing to you, my darling daughter. What he wrote was very true. A child's guardians and teachers surely try their best for the welfare of the child. The responsibility that the spiritual teacher or Sri Gurudev has for those who have taken shelter of him is not only for this life. Rather, this relationship endures birth after birth. Chakshudan dilo je, janme janme prabhu se, divya gyan hriday prakashito. He who has given me eyes is my master, birth after birth, for he has manifested divine knowledge in my heart. The relationship between guru and disciple is eternal. Nitai charana satya, tahara sevaka nitya. Nitai's feet are truth, and his servant is eternal. Wow, this is beautiful. I'm going to save this also. One second. This is letter 20. You wrote, why can one not touch the deity when one is impure? If the mind is clean, then why would the fault of contamination remain? One who is constantly chanting Sri Bhagavan's name is forever pure. Such a person is supremely sanctified and forever bathed. Purity does not come from bathing at the 3 junctures of the day, but will be gained from chanting Gayatri at said 3 junctures. Even after bathing, the mantra Om Pavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavastam Gotopiva Yasmerit Pundari Kaksha Sabhyataram Suchi Sabhyantaram Suchi is recited. The Smriti Shastra has revealed the considerations of pure and impure according to time and circumstance. If for some reason one becomes impure, the method of purification has been given in Shastra. If a person's mind remains pure or clean, then surely he is situated beyond mundane purity and impurity. Where is the possibility of such a person becoming contaminated? But one who is not advanced to this level will certainly have to follow general rules and restrictions. The street sweeper or drain cleaner does filthy work, but once he bathes and puts on clean clothes, he is allowed to enter the temple and see the deity. If he wants to enter the temple with his broom in hand or with a bucket of night soil, that would never be allowed. By impure, you may be referring to a woman's monthly menstrual period, ritu kal. That is a temporary restriction and part of a general stricture. From the beginning of creation, this has been a state that girls have had to accept. Call it an assignment of fate. During a specific time and age, in order to assist the material creation, women have to welcome this state. At the time of the original creation, they did not experience this impure state. But later, when Indra murdered the priest of the demigods Vishwarup and began to experience the implications of the sin of killing a Brahmin, then to mitigate said implication, he divided the sin into 4 properties and gave them to the earth, water, trees, and to the female gender. Women graciously accept a quarter of this sin of killing a Brahmin. This sin is seen in womankind every month as their period. This is why during their period women are impure, and after their ritusnan, or period bath, they become pure and clean. This story is described in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 6th canto 9th chapter. For this time, women cannot serve or worship the deity, but there is no obstruction in their chanting Sri Bhagavan's name. When one gives up dependence on vidhi rules and regulations and gains entrance into Rag Marg, then there is no more room for general observance of such vidhi. At that stage, because the sadhak and sadhika have fully offered their souls, they have no personal consideration of good or bad. Readiness to serve and please Krishna is their only focus then. With a word from Sri Narad, gave their foot dust because it would make Krishna, the Lord of their lives, well. This is a symptom of unadulterated prem. Therein, all endeavors are directed to Sri Bhagavan, even to the point of disregarding one's own well-being. If your mind is pure, then even if you have no Ganga water, you too can invoke the tirthas and use that purified water. With firm faith, you should feed Sri Bhagavan and accept his prasad yourself. You will learn pujarchan of Sri Vigraha from Archan Padati. Maintain steadiness in your regulated bhajan sadhan, but do not maintain an obsession with purity. Accept my affectionate blessings. Convey as befitting my respectful greetings and good wishes to everyone else in your home. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Let me just check to make sure everything is running okay. All right, looks like it. You must be like an eel, yeah. I was just thinking of adding it to my quote list. Okay, Root Manjari, I'm going to post it on Facebook anyways, so. Okay, yeah, I could keep that. Yeah, the beginning of it, the first sentence. Okay, letter 21. If we have one pointed conviction, all the paraphernalia for service will be provided. Simplicity and sincerity are the real qualifications of a disciple. Service to other conditioned souls is only a cause of bondage. Reassurances for the practice. So it's written in 1974. Snehaspadasu. Ma, my body at present is more or less the same as before. Maybe for you this will be the main news. I arrived at the Goloka Ganja Mat. There should be lowercase italics. I arrived at the Goloka Ganja Mat for the occasion of Julan Yatra via Malda, Raiganj, Jalpaiguri, Dhubri, Assam, Bilasipara, Abhayapuri, Barpeta Road, Bangaigaon, Basugaon Mat. One second. And Saptagram. Sapatgram? Is that how they spell it in the Google Map? Oh, God, could I? Okay, maybe that's another place. Anyways. Okay. Now I am traveling with a party to Coach Bihar. I will stay there for 8 to 10 days and then go to the Shiliguri Mat. From Shiliguri, I will, after the first month of Bhadra Mas, August, September, that's redundant to say the first month of Bhadra Mas. The first month of Bhadra month. I think that has to go. I will go to Dumka. The mercy of a sad, a bona fide guru, and one pointed Vaishnavas is the greatest wealth in life. There should be rounded brackets. Only if one can rely on them will one's life be successful. It is by the wish of Bhagavan that the opportunity to find a Sadguru and Satsanga comes. Vehicles and homes, gardens and orchards, everything favorable to Sri Vigraha depends on one pointed conviction and service. With that, there is no shortage of flower gardens, temples, and even musical instruments. By the mercy of Sri Guru and Bhagavan, there is never shortage of any paraphernalia that stimulates Bhagavan's pastimes. There is no specified time for performing sadhan bhajan. Its auspicious commencement is signaled the moment one becomes aware of its necessity. Samartya thakite kai, hari na bhajino hai, asana kalete kiba kori. When my body had the capacity, I did not worship Hari. Alas, now in my final days, what am I to do? It follows that this is not possible. That it is possible to perform Bhagavad Bhajan, or worship of God, at life's closing hour. Time that passes does not return. Time and tide wait for none. It is essential to practice hearing and chanting Bhagavad Katha from childhood. Whatever is practiced then will make an impression for the rest of one's life. That is why it is a matter of great fortune to obtain an environment in which one can practice. Do not analyze the difference between those who are ashrita, sheltered or initiated, and anashrita, unsheltered or not initiated, and thus think yourself lowly. Though nothing ceremonial has happened, you are fully nourished by the heartfelt affection and merciful blessings of Guru and Vaishnavas. In the spiritual domain, the inferiority of your inner qualification will not be accepted. Simplicity and sincerity are what is real. Any state of being that is contrary to that is a falsehood and proves one's unworthiness. It is only on the Shrota Path, the path of hearing, that everything achieves excellence. Ceremonial affairs do not always achieve prominence. Acquainted with this truth, you should dispel all disturbance in your mind. One cannot serve Bhagavan just by serving the other Baddha jivas, conditioned souls. This fact is in accordance with truth and philosophical conclusion. There is ample proof of it. An example is Rishabhdev's eldest son Bharat Māhārāja and his mundane delusion and attachment to a fawn. As a result, Bharat Māhārāja's serving and contemplating a Baddha jiva at the time of death, he had to take birth as an animal. By serving liberated personalities and great perfected souls, that is, by serving Guru and Vaishnavas, service to Bhagavan is surely achieved because they have forever maintained connection with Sri Bhagavan. Since Baddha jivas have no memory or knowledge of Krishna, everything serving and helping them to demonstrating one's sympathies for them turns into a cause of material bondage. The word seva, service, cannot be used for Baddha jivas. The word seva is only applicable in relation to Sri Bhagavan, who is the worshipful object of all, of even supremely liberated personalities. Likewise, one cannot have prem for Baddha jivas. The words daya, compassion, and sahanubhuti, sympathy, are used for them. Only Sri Bhagavan, the supreme object of prem, warrants our use of the word prem. How can a home that is disconnected from the powerhouse have power? Hence, no one can ever attain his soul's welfare by serving Baddha jivas. Rather, such activities lead to destination. Even if your days pass you by, you will attain a good destination. There is no cause to be particularly worried about that. Bhagavan, who is Bhakta Vatsal, affectionate to his devotees, will most certainly accept that devoted man or woman who can make all manner of worldly pleasure trivial for the sake of loving Sri Bhagavan, and who can strictly follow sadachar, proper conduct. The sadhak and sadhika's bhakti dharma can never be damaged by the ridicule of the people of the world. What you wrote is true. There is no guardian other than Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. They are the only friends in the jail of material existence. Please accept my affectionate blessings. What more can I say? Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Oops. Letter 22. The harsh reality of this world and how to transcend it. Living at home can be the same as living in the temple. The purpose of Sri Narayan and Nrsimha-kavaca. Discussing the glories of the Dham constitutes living in the Dham. The Maha Mantra, this dot should be on the previous line. Oops. The Maha Mantra consists of 16 names, 32 syllables, and 64 qualities. Seeing by heart and seeing by the eyes. Special exceptions to vrata rules. Letter 1974. Snehaspadasu. Ma, I have promptly received the letters you wrote previously. Quite some days have passed as those inland mail. Dated 19/8/1974 and redirected from Navadip to here, Shri Goloka Ganj Gaudiya Math, where I received them in the middle of the Julan festival. Julan, I'm pretty sure has a long U. What you wrote is very true. This is an unknown land. Here there is no one to call one's own. This sangsar is a special jail. Human beings come here to reap the fruits of their karma. This is the harsh reality. What is going on here is mutual harm motivated by mundane self-interest. Everyone misunderstands everyone else and harbors misgivings towards them. But those who are sadhaks and sadhikas have no extraneous mundane hankerings, hopes, or aspirations, and so they are worry-free and devoid of agitation. The contemplation of the soul with their every breath, their wealth, intelligence, and words is the purpose of their lives. Even if one does not have the convenience of living in the mat, mandir, or ashram, if one lives at home and follows the instructions and orders of Guru and Vaishnavas, one surely gains the fruit of living in the ashram. Oh, I like this one. I'm going to save this quote. Wait, this is letter 22? Yes, it is. Okay. Shri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnav's causeless mercy is also necessary in this regard. Like the other three ashrams, stages of life, Garhastya, family life, is also a special ashram. It will not do to forget this. It must be given the esteem of an ashram, and it is proper to protect its sanctity in all respects. One will have to fulfill one's responsibility to one's guru by chanting nam while sitting at home, engage in saintly association, studying the shastras and granthas, and performing various other services. If one does that, then surely one will gain the fruit of living in the mat or mandir. I'm going to save this quote. All right. This is from letter 22. Okay. The main thing is to execute the limbs of bhakti, like chanting Śrīnam, and thereby perform bhajan sadhan. By doing so, all manner of agitation in the home and various miseries will be dispelled. So you can even ha-kavaca flowers, the kavacha flowers? Or there's no harm in putting them in the Ganga also. Kavacha should be italicized. The kavacha flowers. Shri Narayan Kavacha and Shri Nrsimha-kavaca dispel all the obstacles in the realm of bhajan for the bhakti sadhak and sadhika. Hence, they are not ordinary like the Navagraha Kavachas, talismans of the 9 astrological deities. Shri Bhagavan and his Shri Nam are never to be put to work or used. That beckons Seva Aparad and Nam Aparad. I think I'm going to make it 2 words. I've seen it like that in other places. Only by serving Shri Bhagavan's Shri Murti and his Shri Nam does the jiva become blessed. Those who live at home and discuss the glories and distinction of Shri Dham and the residents of the Dham are also residents of the Dham. Je dina grihe bhajana deki, grihete goloka bhai. The day I see that bhajan is performed in my home, Goloka appears there. These are the words of the Sadhu Mahajans. Taking shelter of a bona fide guru and obtaining the association of Vaishnavas truly occurs solely due to great good fortune. It is by this that human beings become successful. Vaishnava Sangite Man Anandita Yanukshan Sada Hoy Krishna Parasanga. In the company of Vaishnavas, the mind is blissful at every moment, for the topics of Krishna are always being discussed. All of the Sadhguru's concern for spiritual welfare is focused on those who follow his instructions and orders with their soul. Most Bhata Jivas are children in regard to spiritual teachings. Yet through Shraddha Bhakti, they too are capable of becoming wise. I will not be miserly in any way about granting you helpful instruction. In the case of followers who are like sons and daughters, none of their faults is even taken into account. They are forgiven for even grave misdeeds. I like that. I think there should probably be a definition, Shraddha Bhakti, faithful devotion. I'll say that also. Okay. Okay, sorry. Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra is the possessor of 64 transcendental qualities, and his Sri Nam, the Taraka Brahma Maha Mantra, is the aggregate of 16 names and 32 syllables. That, however, reveals the truth of Shakti and Shaktiman. Only by utterance of these 16 names is a proper result reaped. The rule that uttering Sri Nam just once delivers one from material bondage pertains to the independent and primary Sri Nam, such as Krishna, Mukunda, Govinda. The Bada Jiva, full of anarthas, can never reap the fruit of uttering the direct form of Sri Nam Brahma itself, simply by uttering the syllables of Nam. The Jiva only becomes successful by uttering the transcendental Sri Nam that is Satchidananda, with a tongue composed of pure consciousness. But he will never become worthy of possessing Purna Brahma, the full manifestation of Godhead. Sri Bhagavan's 64 qualities are gaining competence equal to his. One second. Sri Nam Brahma in another place I remember is capitalized. So, and I think it is proper to have it. So let me just make a note of that. All right. I understood your mind was disturbed because you did not know where I am and how I am. Inner vision is possible by contemplation, and Bhav Darshan, or Darshan of Bhagavan, through one's transcendental sentiment, is more real than the vision of the eyes. This is why Viraha is superior to Milan, meeting. This is something to be realized. You stare in hope of getting a single drop of water, but the thirsty chatak bird surely gains the mercy water from the clouds of compassion, Shri Guru and Bhagavan, having its thirst quenched and life blessed. Despite knowing that a thunderbolt may fall upon it, it must appeal to the cloud. It is not possible to attain Tattva Vastu, the true reality, without wholehearted reliance and surrender. Although in Smriti Shastra consumption of milk is forbidden during the month of Ashvin, there will be no fault if you take it. For you, a special injunction is given. If someone's life depends on a particular sattvika foodstuff, it is acceptable to not give it up for what is a temporary period of prohibition. Our Janmashtami will be in Koch Bihar this time. I am well. Accept my affectionate, convey my good wishes to your mother and father. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Letter 23. Appreciating Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. Proving oneself through sadhan bhajan. Long A is missing here. Developing humility and freedom from envy. The transcendent existence of the Vaishnavas. The power of steady practice. Without tolerance, there is no auspiciousness. The importance of yukta vairagya. Okay, letter to Umadidi, finally. Letter written in 1974. Snehaspadasu. Ma Uma. The debt owed to Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas for their unlimited compassion and super-mundane affection can never be repaid. If a person performs Hari Bhajan, he gains an appreciation for that debt and his life becomes blessed. The living entity can prove his eligibility only if he performs Bhagavad Bhajan. Only if the devotee can love the supreme object of love, Sri Bhagavan, does his life meet with success. If one gains an inclination to perform sadhan bhajan, one develops confidence in amani manada dharma, the dharma of relinquishing pride and honoring others. When one considers oneself unworthy and degraded, the condition of humility appears. The qualification for a particle of the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas comes only by this. It is natural for everyone who thirsts for bhakti to gain more and more eagerness and enthusiasm upon seeing the service of others, or their pining for Brahma. What's pining? Okay, to miss or long for. She's still pining for him. Okay. In the dharma of service, there is patience, dharya, and excitation, udipana. But there is no place for envy and violence. As envy is useless on the path of bhakti, it has been wholly rejected. Sadhaks and sadhikas who are inclined to perform bhajan only because if they attain the delight of service. Vaishnavas reside in the transcendental Vrindavan. No matter where they are, even if they are seemingly situated within the material world, wherever they are is the highest attainable abode of Sri Vrajadham. Therefore, Srila Narottam Thakur Mahāshaya has sung, Jatthaya Vaishnavagan, She Stana Vrindavan, She Stane Ananda Ashesh. Wherever the Vaishnavas are, that place is Vrindavan, and in that place is unlimited joy. Sadhus who see all as equal remain overwhelmed by transcendental emotion and see and accept any circumstance and any environment as favorable for their bhajan. Such a state of being is attained only by extraordinary good fortune. It is then that one is delivered from mundane reclusiveness and duplicity. What you have conveyed of your sorrows brings to mind a worldly proverb. The operation was successful, but the patient died. By chanting Nam as prescribed, performing worship with the deity, studying scripture, and hearing Harikatha from the mouths of sadhus, all the living entities' anarthas are dispelled. But because that has not happened in your case, you think that you lack sincerity. Abhyas yoga, the yoga of practice, is not mastered in a short time. It is something that takes time. For that reason, one must be steady and unperturbed and possess Himalaya-like fortitude. Dependence on Sri Bhagavan's mercy has been described as a special characteristic in the domain of surrender. Only by Abhyas Yoga does steadiness of heart and soul come in chanting Gayatri at the junctions of the day and performing one's japa. One then has realization of the meanings of the Gayatri mantras. A person who can understand his own faults and shortcomings, endeavors to rectify them within a very short time. Auspiciousness occurs only when one closely studies the words emanating from the holy mouths of Guru and Vaishnavas. This is what has been delineated in the Sutra of Vedanta, Avriti Asakrit Upadeshat. This has also been echoed in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:33-39, the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra in the verse, Shadandito Nashunayad Atavarnayedvam, Redrogam Ashvapahinot Dachirena Dhira. One who faithfully hears and later describes such pastimes has the heart disease of lust. Should it be heart disease, like with a hyphen? I don't know. Has the heart disease of lust quickly dispelled and becomes peaceful. No, probably not. Anyways. One who stays in the shelter and under the guidance of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas has no fear. One who thinks he knows everything ends up becoming an atheist. Always pray to the residents of Sri Dham for mercy. Their dedication to service is exemplary. Only by the power of their mercy does one attain realization of the transcendental Dham and of Dhameshwar, the Lord of the Dham. Oh, this is also good. Should I save this? I'm just going to save it. I might not post it though. This is letter 23, I think, right? Letter 23. All right. For living entities who are attached to material pleasures, detachment is an exceedingly difficult matter. Those foolish individuals who are identifying the body as the self require instruction in saintly association. Even Brahma and the demigods, when confronted with adversity, seek the shelter of Sri Bhagavan, the one true friend of all souls. Only in this human form is the living entity capable of searching for Bhagavat Tattva, the truth of God, via direct and indirect inquiries. For this reason, the scriptures describe the human form as the foundation of bhajan. Compelled by desires, the living entity accepts the guidance of the demigods who fulfill desires, and therefore he has to suffer the threefold miseries. It is from there that malice, envy, and the like arise. In the absence of Sri Chaitanya's teachings, the intolerant living entity wants to find peace by adopting the tendencies of enjoyers and renunciates. If we do not have tolerance, our auspiciousness will never arise. Wanting auspiciousness for himself and others is the characteristic of a selfishness makes the living entity intolerant. Everything created by Bhagavan is an ingredient for Sri Bhagavan's service. If we do not develop this understanding, we have no possibility of attaining auspiciousness. The living entities who indulge in mundane enjoyment end up deprived and destroyed because they think that the world is for them to enjoy. Without becoming tolerant like a tree, Hari Bhajan is not possible. That is why Śrīmad Mahaprabhu taught the Trinad Api Sunichina verse. This is also really good. Anyways, if we do not have tolerance, auspiciousness will never arise. Wanting auspiciousness for himself. Okay, I'm going to save this actually. It is. Okay, 1 second. Letter 23. Boom. Okay. By accepting those commodities that are essential for maintaining one's life, the mind does not become disturbed. Yata yoga bhog nahi tata rog anasakta se ki ara kohobo. Moderate enjoyment does not yield disease. One who conducts himself as such is not attached. What else is there to say? Moderate enjoyment? No. I have to look this up. I don't think that's the right way to translate it. This is yukta vairagya, as approved by exalted personalities. Devoid of This is yukta vairagya as approved by exalted personalities. Devoid of bhakti and compelled by arrogance, mankind wishes to dominate all that exists. That can never be the superior path. The restless individual, becoming subjugated by the 5 sense objects, nurtures hope for peace and happiness, but that is precisely what topples him into the ultimate suffering. Having attained freedom from the urges of the body and mind, it is best to strive for self-realization. If one indulges in the comfort of the mundane body and home, one cannot accept sense objects in a detached manner and engage in the service of Bhagavan. That is why we find the instruction, Yata yogya vishay bhunja anasakta hoya. Accept without attachment whatever sense objects are necessary for your maintenance. Iti, wishing your eternal welfare, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. 24. Oh, Rohit Radhakrishnan. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was talking about chanting the mantras, or the actual physical kavacha. I don't actually know what it was referring to. And I think it's okay to daily recite the Nrsimha Kavacha and Narayan Kavacha as a daily sadhan. I mean, I know the Nrsimha Kavacha by heart because I used to say it every day for years. I used to recite it every day. And I did that with a bunch of devotees, so I don't know. I think it's okay. I don't think it's a requirement, but I think there's nothing wrong with doing it. Although, Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Gosvāmī Maharaj, he actually spoke about Nrsimha Kavacha. I think there's different opinions with acharyas on this, because, if you go into vcvani.com and just type in Kavacha, you'll find the whole thing on this. And who was it that gave Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Gosvāmī Maharaj a Kavacha? And he kept it and worshipped it, but he never put it on because he wanted to give all his faith in Shri Harinam. Shri Harinam is all that he needs to protect him. He doesn't need any other thing. Anyways, you can check that out though. Letter 24. Dedication to Sri Guru and Vaishnavas is essential. Bhagavan fulfills the desires of his devotees, but one must make an effort. The teachings of sadhu, there's a long A missing. Teachings of sadhu, guru, and shastra exist to ensure the quality of one's surrender to Bhagavan. Devotees are focused only on service. The teachings of Srila Rupa Goswāmī, pampering the body interrupts the search for Sri Krishna. This is a letter 1976. So we just jumped to 1975, right? Yeah, I think no, yeah. All right, 1976. Snehaspadasu. Ma Uma. Even if I do not have a chance to reply to your letter in a timely fashion, I have no cause to object to your writing me letters. Rather, since writing letters entails expressing the moods of the heart, writing them is beneficial for everyone. Those who always have the opportunity to hear, chant, remember, and behold Sri Bhagavan's transcendental name, form, qualities, pastimes, and so on are surely blessed. One must try to control the wicked and unruly mind by telling oneself that true auspiciousness can only come from Sri Guru and Vaishnava's orders and instructions. I have not been able to perform bhajan of Hari. When will he have compassion on me? Surely Sri Bhagavan will have mercy on me. These sorts of lamentations and hopeful expectations push the sadhak and sadhika further in bhajan. Tava nija jan parama bandhava sangsara karagare. Your close associate is my supreme friend in this jail of material existence. Vaishnava dekhiya purivo charane hridayera bandhu jani. One second. There should be commas here. from the song Kabe Aha Goranga Bulia. Oop, this footnote is wrong. Yikes. This is a big deal. This is from Kabe Aha. This is from Kabe Aha Goranga Bulia. I just need to make a note here, just so in case I forget. Footnote. Okay. Let me make another footnote here. Okay, there. Okay, let me reread this. So, these sorts of lamentations and hopeful expectations push the sadhaka sarika further in bhajan. Vaishnava dekhi poribo charane hridayera bandhu jani. When I see a Vaishnav, I will fall at his feet, knowing him to be my heart's friend. This is a matter of personal realization. Only a person whose heart overflows with bliss when they behold Guru and Vaishnavas is a truly peaceful and desireless devotee. To convey an obeisance to someone else in a letter addressed to Sri Guru Pad Padma, or to ask him to convey said regards is contrary to proper etiquette. It seems like an order or instruction instead of a request, and would indeed be offensive. Bhaktas are called Vancha Kalpataru, wish-fulfilling trees, because Sri Bhagavan himself fulfills their desires. It is because you had a strong wish to behold the Sri Dham of Mathura Vrindavan and other places that I think it just says Sri Dham Mathura Vrindavan. So let me just. It is because you had a strong wish to behold Sri Dham Mathura Vrindavan and other places that Bhagavan granted you such an opportunity. I am going to hide in my house, sit here, not making any effort, and say, if the Lord doesn't drag me to the Dham, how can I behold it? These are the words of an atheist. If the heart is anxious and overwhelmed, Sri Bhagavan surely offers his assistance and mercy. If he does not see my effort, why would he show sympathy and mercy? Wow, this is similar to another quote that I shared on Facebook, but this one's even stronger, a lot stronger. I'm going to save this. This is so good. Letter 24. There. All the darkness of ignorance in the heart is eradicated by the mercy of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. The delusions of Maya affecting the soul are eliminated. Their transcendental affection is the only support for the sadhak or sadhika. Sincerely offering one's heart and soul to Sri Bhagavan is itself the attainment of the ultimate fruit of sadhan. It is to ensure the excellence of this surrender that the instructions of Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru exist. Shastra has given instructions specifically about loving and serving Sadhu, Guru, and Bhagavan, because the root cause of the birth of devotion for Krishna is the association of saintly personalities. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mul Hoy Sadhu Sangha. People of the world are preoccupied with mundane comforts and sorrows. Those who desire the welfare of their souls have no use for this duality of good and bad. They are forever concerned only with Sevya, the master, Sevak, the servant, and Seva, service. The bhaktas never invoke topics that have nothing to do with Sri Bhagavan, the bhakti. Minding which matters serve them no purpose. They keep far away from such unfavorable entanglement at all times. He wrote that in English, minding which matters. That's why it's. So that serves them no purpose. They keep far away from such unfavorable entanglement at all times. Their only consideration is the health of their soul, and they derive delight only from said cultivation. If one cannot perform sadhan bhajan, then what is the benefit of feeding and providing for the body and mind? It is forever accepted that the speciality of someone who is keen on the welfare of his soul is that his body and mind, everything, is aimed at the joy of service. I think there should be end dashes, right? Not commas? I don't know. I'll have to ask. That is precisely why the pursuit of karma, jnana, yoga, and so on has been forestalled, to create a field of inquiry into Brahma and inquiry into bhakti. It is a matter of great fortune that you had the opportunity to sit in Allahabad or Prayag and remember topics of Bhagavan. It is considered a special duty to discuss the teachings to Sri Rupa in Prayag. Without the grace of Sri Rupa and Sanatan, the truths of Sambandha and Abhideya cannot be realized. If one is to make a rule to read the teachings given to Sri Rupa from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita every day while in Prayag, one will gain so much peace of heart. The specific glories of each and every tirtha and dham that is bathed in the mercy of the devotees in Bhagavan have been extensively documented. You gain greater results by discussing topics relevant to where this fuels and aids bhajan. Oh, that's good to know. You gain greater results by discussing topics relevant to where you are. Okay, in another place it's spelled Sundarban with an E. Sunderban. Can I do something really... Oh, and this is not italicized, this number. Sorry. Okay. 1 second. I just need to check on Google Maps how you type in how they spell Sundarban. What's the official way of spelling it? Actually, I could just look here. Sundarban. Let's see if it says Sundarban. All right. Actually, wait, Sundarban. Sorry, guys, I know I'm wasting your time. Okay. All right. So then, it's spelt right here, but add note. This is spelled wrongly. Sundarban. Okay. And should it be the Sundarbans? It should probably be the Sundarbans, right? Anyways, we'll see. Sundarbans to tigers, boars, snakes, and other such deadly and cunning creatures. If you stay there for too long, you will naturally become influenced by such violence and enmity. Nevertheless, even vicious creatures become non-violent by gaining the association of devotees. There is plenty of proof of this in scripture. The lives of devotees are dedicated to the welfare of others. Janma sartak kori koro, para upakar. There should be an O. Make your life a success by helping others. This is something only a devotee can understand. The greatest aid is aimed at the welfare of the soul. Therefore, devotees are never uncharitable. To the best of their abilities, they grant everyone the opportunity to serve. One must remain eager to obtain that opportunity to serve. In his nectarian instructions, Srila Rupa Gosvāmī Pad has conveyed, Guru Pada Shrayas Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam Vishrambena Gurur Seva Sa Anuvartanam. I think it's Guru Pada Shrayas Tasmat. Is that? Yes. Nice. The preliminary limbs of bhakti are taking shelter of Guru, receiving initiation and training pertaining to Krishna, serving Guru with deep affection, and following the path of the saints. The necessity of taking shelter of a bona fide Guru and receiving Śrīnam and Diksha initiation is taught in scripture. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Wandering throughout the universe, some fortunate souls, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, attain the seed of the creeper of bhakti.
of devotion. This is what one receives when accepting Sri Nam and Diksha. If one wants to attain the seed, Sri Bhagavad grants that person every facility and fulfills said desire. What doubts can there be in this? A person more concerned with the welfare of others than with his own is said to be exceedingly magnanimous. You are particularly concerned for your friends, and I am satisfied to see how content you are in the success of her ambitions. None of you should be worried about my ill health. This material body is always going through a process of genesis, subsistence, and disintegration. You can deliberate on matra sparshas tu konteya. There should be a space. Dehi nosmin yata dehe, and other Gita verses in this regard. E dehera kriya abhyase koribo jivana japana lagi. Shri Krishna bhajane anukula jaha tahe habo ragi. I will fulfill the functions of this body out of habit, and thus spend my life becoming attached to that which is favorable to the performance of bhajan of Sri Krishna. This should be our ideal. If we start pampering our body, we will become indulgent in bodily pleasures and deviate from our practice of sadhan bhajan. Our eternal truth, the search for devotion to Krishna, will be interrupted. Your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Alright, this is the last letter for today. This is written in Puri, Swargadwara. Hey, that Puri should have a long I. The importance of Purnamasi Devi. Service is the life of the servant. Christ and Krishna are not one, as the Father is not the Son. The definition of Shiva. Those who help us advance in bhajan are our real friends and relatives. The generosity of the devotees. The perils of considering demigods equal to Bhagavan. Snehaspadasu. Oh, God. Ma, since I have not replied to your letter for many days, perhaps you are dissatisfied with me and have stopped sending me letters for what today is a month. I am truly very embarrassed and sorry that I could not respond to your letter. Anyway, do not be angry about this. Send letters like before. The test of your patience is finished, and since you have passed, I too have sat down as one sits for an exam to write you a letter. Sri Bhagavan can attract any sinful person to his Sri Dham, but he never shows mercy to an aparadhi jiva, a soul who commits grave. That does not need to be square brackets. We have to be careful of namaparad, dhammaparad, and seva aparad. I don't know if we should make namaparad 2 words or keep it 1 word with sandhi. It could be either way. I think 2 words is better. Yeah. Anyways, I'll have to search this throughout the whole document. Okay, therefore we have to be careful of namaparad, dhammaparad, and seva aparad. Otherwise, there is no real chance of us advancing in bhajan sadhan. Purnima, or Purnamasi, is Gauri. She can approve us and assist us in the worship of Sri Gaura Krishna. Without her, it is not possible to advance in sadhan bhajan in any matter, much the way that none of Sri Bhagavan's leelas are stimulated without the potency of Yogamaya, who is Lila Vistarini, she who expands the pastimes. I think the kerning could be a little bit with this. Okay. I give thanks to Sri Bhagavan for fulfilling your long-held aspiration or ambition. In the spiritual world, there is no such male enjoying ego. This should be a hyphen here. It is compulsory to be well aware of this. Hence, the mundane ego of male or female is an affair distinctly of this mundane world alone. You have conveyed to me a request that I take rest for a good few days. Seva is the life of a sadhu bhakta, a renunciate devotee. Seva is rest. The servant's seva to the Lord is his life, his jivan, his vows, his chanting, japa, his austerity, tapa, everything. For a servant to be separate from his seva means there is a lack of sincerity in him. It creates impediments in his bhajan. Seva is the fountain of the servant's life and the hub of his life heirs. Bhakti and seva, these two are one. Those who conceive of seva and bhakti separately are mistaken. It is certainly not proper to use the word seva here and there. There is only no contradiction of tattva if it is used appropriately. You are all praying to Sri Bhagavan for my good health, but will this not cause him trouble? Only the desire for his pleasure is called seva or bhakti. If this prayer is for the purpose of service, then there is no fault. Wow, this is a good. I sent another similar quote on Facebook, but this one I like even better. Where am I? Here. Letter 55. And okay. All right. I understood that your mind was disturbed when you went to the mutt at the time of Janmashtami and were not able to see me. I have been right here all along. Why were you not able to see me? If you had made a proper effort to see, you would have seen me everywhere. You are all delighted by taking prasad. It is to distribute this prasad that Bimala Devi lives in Shri Kshetra near Sri Jagannath Dev. Persons of little piety do not have faith or belief in this Mahaprasad. The arousal of faith in Shri Mahaprasad, the Vigraha of Govinda, Shri Nam and the Vaishnavas, comes by the effect of many, many lifetimes of Sukriti. Swalpa punyavatam rajan vishwai vajayate. You've earned that Sukriti and have become blessed. Krishte are are? It should probably be ar, right? Krishte. Anyways. Krishte ar Krishte. Kichu bhina nai rihai. Christ and Krishna are not different, brother. These are Anthony Feringri's words. This is not the tattva or siddhanta of any shastra. The verdict or conclusions of shastra are called universal truth or axiomatic truth. That is the real truth. It never changes or stretches. In the Christian religion, the doctrine of the fatherhood of Godhead has been accepted. The son will one day be a father, but to believe there will be no difference between father and son, all there is in this sort of doctrine is an improper oneness, plus chaos and arbitrariness. Sri Murti or Sri Vigraha is not some figment of our illusory imagination. If we paint it with our imagination, it becomes earthen. That is called a doll. That can never be worshipful. Worshipful or worshipable? I don't know. Oh God. What's the difference between worshipful or worshipable? Anyways, I'll look that up. The transcendental sweetness of Sri Bhagavan's form that the devotees see with spiritual eyes is what is manifest or reflected in Sri Vigraha. That is what is called the Sri Murti, and he is the object of worship. In the future, you'll be able to proceed along the path of your life with patience, enthusiasm, and tolerance. There is no doubt about this. People who enable one to progress on the path of spiritual life or lend their assistance in this regard are very rare in this world. There is no value to a life that has made its all-in-all material knowledge, which is bereft of Bhagavat Siddhanta, truths pertaining to the Lord. Only those who can propel us on the path of Dharma, who can give us indication of the real truth, are our real friends and relatives, our own. We will have to stay forever surrendered to them. The debts we owe them can never be repaid. Those who are engaged in Bhagavad Bhajan are never trapped by any sort of debt. Only by performing Hari Bhajan is one freed from all manner of debts. If Sri Bhagavan shows his mercy, then all darkness of ignorance darkness of ignorance will be dispelled, and one will be able to be illuminated by the light of knowledge. This is no problem at all. Man, with his limited knowledge, cannot remove any difficulty by chinta, by contemplation. By contemplation, or maybe worry. By worrying about it. Man can, with all his limited knowledge, cannot remove any difficulty by worrying about it. I don't know, maybe it's content. Both can work. Or maybe we could have both words. Contemplation or worrying. I don't know. Sorry, guys. If he is totally reliant on Sri Bhagavan, who is Chintamani, a wish-fulfilling gem, then he becomes supremely worry-free. Yeah, because chinta can mean both things. Your last inland letter showed me some envy towards various devotees in Bardhaman. I think Bardhaman has two, unless Bardhaman has two D's. Oh God. Sorry. The fortune of the devotees is always wide open. If you all can become devotee chatak birds, then surely one day the water of mercy will be showered upon you. This is the natural function of devotees who are like rain clouds. They empty out their hearts and ungrudgingly distribute their every last resource. Those who think, how will I survive, and seek out their own self-interest can never become vadanya, magnanimous. Sriman Mahaprabhu's devotees are supremely generous. They are maha vadanya. Their gift is incomparable. There is no gift in this world that can equal its value. Giving food to the starving, giving clothes to those who have none, giving medicine and treatment, giving knowledge, none of it can equal that. It has been accepted via the statements of Sadhu, Shastra, and Bhagavan that enlightening one person in the matter of Atma Dharma is a duty millions of times and opening millions of hospitals in the world. An intelligent seer of the truth realizes this by his perception of the soul. Sri Narayan and Mahadev are, respectively, the whole and a part. According to the considerations of tattva, the whole can never be the part, and the part can never be the whole. The king and the citizen, the boss and the employee, the master and the servant are not one. On the path of vidhi or maryada, differences in authority will always be there. The foundation and what it supports cannot be one. Each and everything will always have its unique speciality. Sri Bhagavan loves the devotee, and the devotee is devoted to Bhagavan. Hence, the devotee does not become the conductor of cosmic creation, existence, and annihilation, and Bhagavan's omnipotence is not hampered by his affection for the devotee. The God of all gods, Sri Bhagavan, together with the presiding gods and goddesses, or, in other words, his employees, is to commit an offense at his feet. Philosophical consideration dictates this sort of offense. It is one thing to accept Brahma, Shiva, and other demigods as Vaishnavas, and something very different to imagine that any one of them is independently the supreme controller. Should the jiva's good fortune arise, all of these tattvas manifest in his heart, and he gets a sense of the real truth. This world of Maya is full of impurities. It is beyond comprehension just how many types of prisoners and defendants there are in this jail of Mahamaya Durga Devi. As long as a jiva fails to mold his life in correlation with the conclusions of scripture, he will always end up following the wrong path. Only the supremely merciful, omniscient Sri Bhagavan can, as Guru, one's inner guru or conscience, turn him around. If you all stay well, I can be without worry. Please, all of you, accept my affectionate blessings. If there is time, try to come to Rat. I hope everyone else is well. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. All right. So that is our reading for today. Hey, Puri doesn't have a, I'm gonna have to do a search. I fixed all these things, I thought. Anyways, All right, Jai Shri Radhe. Prajumna Prabhu, he said, please read more. Well, one thing I'll show you. This is what I'm doing. I think I already showed this before, didn't I? But this is, I saw myself before. And so I'm, like when I was doing a fidelity check, I was checking each word and like all the translations. And every time I'd finish, I'd check one of these off. And so this is 1 week worth of work. And then this is the next week worth of work. So I'm just doing a week of work at a time. Which is like, we're reading about 8 to 9,000 words a day. All right. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. See you all later on. Hari Bo.